Well, hello and welcome from Bay Porthcawl. Over lockdown, I made a video about the wreck of the Samtampa. The ship ran aground during a fierce storm on Sker Point, which is just over there. It ran aground on the 23rd of April 1947, which is 75 years ago this week. And sadly, in that disaster, the 39 crew of the ship and the 8 volunteer lifeboat crew from Mumbles Lifeboat were all lost. Well, in my original video, which I'll link down below and it should be coming up at the end, I go into more details about the wreck, but I also tell you where to find the Remembrance plaque, which is hidden in the rocks at Sker Point, and also the only part of the ship which still remains, and that's the engine. However, following that video, a few people mentioned to me they still found it difficult to find the Remembrance plaque, which is quite hidden in the rocks. So today I'm going to revisit and show you exactly where the plaque is, give the coordinates and the what three words location, and also it's going to be a particularly low tide. So we should find the ship's engine, which is usually underwater most of the time. If you don't know much about the Samtampa, it's worth looking it up. Especially on YouTube, you can see the old Pathé News from 1947 as well. And when we get over to Sker Point, you'll see how jagged the rocks are. That ship, the Liberty ship, wouldn't have had a chance on those rocks. The sad thing is, just a half a mile further west are Kenfig Sands. Smooth sand stretching a couple of miles. If this ship had ran aground there, the crew probably would have survived. Well, anyway, let's head over to Sker Point. Well, you walk along the Wells coast path until you get to Sker House. And this wall here you're walking alongside. You get to this marker post and the wall turns sharply right. At this point, look out to sea and then turn about 45 degrees. You can see a buoy in the channel. Head towards that direction for about 75 yards across the shingle onto the rocks. Roughly, you're in the vicinity of the Remembrance plaque. I don't know if you can see it. There's a man on the rocks in blue. He's standing by the plaque now. So we walk from the marker post over there at around 45 degrees to the right across the rocks, and we get to the plaque here. It is there. So this was laid at the spot where they found the upturned Mumbles lifeboat. I'll put the coordinates in now, also the what three words and the spot on the map. It's a really sunny, calm day today. You probably can see people walking behind me on the coastal path. It's hard to imagine what this area must have been like on the 23rd of April 1947. It was meant to be a really fierce storm, like a once-in-a-lifetime storm. There was talk of houses inland being covered with oil from the ship. Just take a look at these rocks. That ship wouldn't have had a chance. The Liberty ships were built quickly during the war, and there were basically three sections welded together. So when it hit these rocks, it just broke apart. The two main sections ended up on the rocks up here, but the engine room, the engine part, remained lower down. That's why usually it's underwater. So there's our first glimpse of the remains of the engine. There's still about half an hour before low tide, so we should be able to see more of it. Let's see if we can get closer. So here are the coordinates for the ship's engine. It's now low tide, 0.7 meters. So it's quite a low tide. It does get lower, but not that often. But I thought more of this ship's engine was going to be exposed. Anything much above 0.7 meters as a low tide, you're not going to see much of it at all. Just look at the sea states and the waves crashed against the rock. And today is a calm day. Imagine what it was like on that night in 1947. Just to give you a sense of scale, what you can see exposed there, I would say, is the size of a large minibus. So let's see if we can find any other remains from the ship. When I came last time, there were bits of metal lodged in the rocks. Well, that was another look at the Samtampa disaster, the ship which ran aground along with Mumbles lifeboat at Sker Point 75 years ago this month. Hopefully this video will help you find the remembrance plaque on the rocks, and also below I'll link my original video as well as the links to the Pathé news clips from 1947 as well. So I'll see you in the videos coming up next. So until next time, that's a bye from me. Bye.